Hello, welcome to Broadway and Other Kiwi Dreams, a weekly podcast exploring the lives and minds of theatre practitioners in and around the New Zealand performing arts industry. I'm your host, James Shera. Today, I am joined by performer, teacher, director, and my oldest friend in the industry, Caleb Brown. I first met Caleb during the rehearsal process for NYTC's My Son Pinocchio. We became fast friends and have remained close despite living in different cities. Caleb joins the podcast to talk about his time at NYTC. We discuss his studies in documentary filmmaking, and we get an insight into Caleb's dreams to grow the New Zealand theatre community by inspiring young people as a primary school teacher. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, enjoy a conversation with Caleb on Broadway and Other Kiwi Dreams. Hey Caleb, how's it going?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Yeah, great.
Good.
How's isolation treating you?
Isolation, it's definitely been tough. You just want to go out, and I miss work. It's like we've got such a great team there, and it's an easy job selling sunglasses and being able to go see friends and go out and have lunch with them. And I mean, even uni is where some of my friends are, and we usually catch up there, and not being able to see them is kind of weird, but I'm enjoying the time off, getting to do more stuff, like been recording some videos, singing, getting my kind of my CV up for performing, and getting all my kind of Broadway songs and musical songs ready to go just in case audition, and trying to find pop songs, because a lot of auditions like pop songs, so trying to find all that, and just trying to build up more stuff to when I come out I can actually go out into the world and audition more, which I haven't done for like a year, I think. No, half a year I think was the last audition.
Which is cool, because it's hard to be productive in a time like this where everything is all about the disease and all about staying at home, so it's good to have something to work for.
I mean, even if it's like, I know some of my friends are working out more because now they've got time, and they're getting in shape, which is great. And people are painting, learning instruments, learning new stuff, which I think is perfect time to do it. Catching up on Netflix and all that good stuff helps out.
Yeah, super productive. Catching up on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix is the most important part.
Yeah, totally.
Come on now. So that's how I live my day.
So this being a theatre podcast, primarily, what is your favourite musical?
Oh, easy. Off the bat, Phantom of the Opera. Boom. Don't have to give it a second thought. When I went to New York, my dad was like, what's the one musical you want to see? Because we were only there for 2 days, so we can only see one. And without skipping a beat, I was like, Phantom of the Opera. Book it now. And I love it. It was great to see it on Broadway. Incredible. Yeah. Absolute favourite.
Did you see that they're going to post it on YouTube?
I did, and I'm very excited. I still remember watching it and in the theatre, and getting to relive it will be absolutely great. I'm enjoying it. All the stuff that Andrew Lloyd Webber's been doing, on his Facebook page and all that stuff. He's a mastermind and an incredible person. So I'm enjoying everything that he's been doing.
He's a gift to humanity.
He really is. Honestly, I was talking to Mum about it. I was like, he is, in my opinion, probably the best musical composer and all that kind of stuff. He is just absolutely incredible. And if we lose him, I'll be in tears for weeks.
Sure. Yeah. By the time this is released, the video won't be there anymore. But
I mean, it was there. It was really good.
If you saw it, good.
Let us know. Good on you. You did it.
Hashtag Kiwi Dreams to start the conversation.
Yeah. I thought of another musical that I really love. I saw it twice when I was down in Auckland, School of Rock. That's one of my other favourites. Also Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yes.
Not biased or anything.
Not biased.
Yeah. Both incredible. I was lucky enough to see it twice. Lucky enough to see it both times for free. I know people. I know people in the biz, you know. I know people in the biz. So
I got contacts.
I've got contacts with people. Yeah, and I mean, we got to meet the person that produced it, I believe. She was cool. She was really incredible. She kind of was like, you know, with the kids, we do like schooling for them. We do all this kind of stuff. And it's like one time they did their schooling session on the stage in like the seats and desks that they use for the show.
Oh, wow.
I was like, yeah, I just get to do schooling on the civic stage. Same old thing.
No big deal.
You know? Yeah, whatever. I do it all the time. Yeah.
So speaking of school and stuff, obviously I know you performed in NYTC, which, if you don't know, is the National Youth Theatre Company in Auckland.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
So we'll get to that soon, but did you perform like as a younger kid before you did NYTC?
I remember performing in my primary production of Rats, the musical. Don't know if many people know.
Is it a parody of Cats, or is it?
No, it's
not.
about it's about the Pied Piper.
Great.
Like just getting rats out of the thing, and I can't remember the role that I played, but I was like with the king or something, and I said a total of maybe 5 lines.
Do you remember those lines?
Absolutely not.
Great.
Oh, wait. I remember Pied Piper said like a knock-knock joke, and I was like, who's there? That was one of my lines.
Nice. Classic.
Very important. Very important. Yeah. I did choirs and stuff. I auditioned for both years for intermediate productions, but I've been thinking about it recently. I realized that the person that ran the auditions and casted it was in charge of the sports program, like the sports program of the school.
Right. Yeah.
So she just casted all the sports people. And I was like, they're not good. I'm sorry. It sounds mean. I apologize. But like, they were not good. And I was kind of like, okay. But I didn't do high school. I was going to, and then I injured my leg seriously, so I couldn't do the dance audition, which you had to do. So I didn't get to do it. But other than that, NYTC has been my main theatre company that I've been with. I've just joined APA, which is Auckland Performing Arts Academy. Yeah, APAA.
Sounds right.
Yeah, so they've recently new. I think they started last year. So it's pretty new. But yeah, now I'm with them. So yeah, I've kind of gone away from NYTC, but I'll always come back and see shows and help out whenever I can. Yeah. So yeah, those two are my mains.
Did you have any other arts people in the family?
I think one of my cousins, she did dance. My grandmother sang when she was younger. My mum and my 2 aunties did choirs when they were at school, but no one really did kind of musical theatre the way that I've done it. I'm kind of the first one. One of my younger cousins, she wants to get into performing arts, which is great. So it's not just me, because everyone's like, at Christmas, Caleb, sing. I'm like, no, someone else too, please. I don't want to sing again. I've sung about for 10 minutes now. I don't want to do it anymore. So trying to get her into it. But yeah, it's mainly been me, which is, I kind of like it, because it's not really like everyone's real different. No one does the exact same thing. And me being like, I perform, everyone's like, oh, that's, he's the dramatic one of the family. I'm like, fair. Yeah. Fair enough. But yeah, no, only really me. But I know if I have children, they're going to be performing whether they like it or not.
Nice.
And they're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah. You're going to be on Broadway and you're going to like it.
Yeah. If you don't like it, too bad. You're living my dream right about now. Okay? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Being that you're the only performer in the family, or in your immediate family, how did you find out about NYTC? Like, how did that come about?
I didn't go straight into doing their on-stage shows. I did their holiday program, All Stars, which, so I started that, and it was because of my family friends. I don't know if you remember Claudia Nixon from a long time ago. Yeah, so I've known them my whole life, and they've been doing it for years. and mum kind of wanted me out of the house, because I was doing nothing. So yeah, I signed up for that, and I was kind of like, I like performing, but it's a bit weird. Like, I don't know if I want to do it. I got there, and then, I absolutely loved it straight away. And we were like, okay, we need a book for the next holidays, because they filled up really fast when I first did it. I did that for about 2 years, and then I went on to their on-stage productions. So yeah, ever since then, it's kind of just been every year been doing it with them, and got to work for them last show, which was cool. So yeah, kind of worked my way up from doing holiday program on stage to interning and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So what age were you when you started?
Oh, golly, I think I was 10.
Cool.
10 or 11. 10. So I'd been doing it for like 11 plus years, which is kind of crazy to think. Yeah, it's I mean, I talked to some of the kids when we did Wizard of Oz last show, and I was like, I've been doing it for 11 years. They're like, you've been doing it longer than I've been alive. And I'm like, make me feel old. I'm only 22, but dang. Yeah. So a very long time, and loved it. Absolutely loved it, and always went back.
That's half your life.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to think about it like that. And like when you put it into the perspective of like age, I'm kind of like, that's a bit nuts that I've been doing it for so long. But I mean, there's some people there that have been doing it for like coming up 15 years that they've been going, and it's kind of like, I mean, it's great how loyal they've been. But they also do so many different stuff, like people that have been there for so long. Yeah,
well, that's the thing. It's a great starting point for a lot of performers. And even if you don't go into performing as a career, it's an awesome thing to be able to do and to grow yourself as a human.
Yeah. I always remember how they always said, that the main thing that they do is build confidence. And I mean, I've seen some kids come to the first rehearsal, bawling their eyes out, don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, everyone is, they're friends with everyone. They're having the most amazing time, and they've come out going, I'm so excited to do the next one. And I've had so many parents come up to not just me, but the other staff when I was on, and, saying how much their kids grown, and, they were always quiet at school or in doing other things. And now they're the life of the party, which is incredible. I mean, I was like those kids where it's like, I didn't want to go, didn't know how I was going to feel, and coming out of it, loving it. I'm just definitely wouldn't be where I am without it, confidence wise, and kind of being the person I am. I'd probably still be doing some weird things, I know, but now studying teaching, I'm kind of like, I wouldn't be studying teaching if I didn't do theatre with NYTC.
Sure.
So yeah, it's definitely a great starting point. I would recommend people who have kids that aren't so confident, or anyone, even if they're teenagers and they're not so confident, do theatre, because everyone there is weird. I mean, it's the best place to be yourself, and you won't be judged for who you are, because we're all going on stage playing different characters and doing different things. I think it's the best starting point for someone to grow as a person.
Yeah, and I think it's great that it's not like you don't have to be good at performing to do it.
Exactly.
It's like there's no audition process. You just pay the fee and you get in, which I think is, as we said, is their kind of business model. Is it's about doing the shows and everything, but it's not about performing. It's about growing as a person.
I think not having that audition kind of process to get into the cast, I think it's one of the best things, because I mean, you could have a bad day on an audition. You might be a little bit sick.
Totally.
You might be a little bit nervous, and the nerves come over you and all that stuff. And then, something goes on. They're like, oh, sorry, it's just not what we're looking for. But in reality, you could be this incredible singer, dancer, or actor that, you just had a bad day. And that's what I like about having the 2-round auditions as well. I think it's really cool that, because I never really auditioned first round. I was always a little bit nervous. But when you see who they've cast and see what they want, then I would always go to second round being like, cool, this is what they want. I'm going to portray it my own way. And I think it's really cool. And I know that there are some theatre companies in New Zealand that you got to audition, but I feel like they know that that they can work with those kids if they've had that bad day, or if they're a little bit nervous, they can work with those kids to build that confidence, which I think is also good. But yeah, I like that there's no audition process to get into a lot of these theatre companies, which is really cool.
So that leads us to when I joined, which was Disney's My Son Pinocchio.
Oh yeah, what a show to join.
The story of Geppetto.
My goodness, what a show.
I think I'm right in saying this is you were one of my first friends in that area, sort of you and Cole.
Absolutely.
And I think during the lead camp was when I kind of remember our friendship kind of blossoming.
Yeah, I still remember, actually, I was thinking about it today, when we did auditions and how they normally got us to sing the song all together and then would go up one at a time. I still remember this vividly, and I'm very embarrassed by it. And we all sang it, and then I think you might have been first, or they asked you to go first.
I was, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, and I didn't hear that we were doing it individually. So you went up and started singing, and then I started singing as loud as I could, and I was like, oh.
And I was like, that guy's going to be my friend.
Yeah. The guy that just overtook my audition. He's going to become my first friend here. Yeah. No, it was hilarious. But yeah, I feel like camp's the best place to make friends for NYTC, especially because you're there for 2 nights.
Yeah, for those that don't know, NYTC does a camp and you go away for 3 days and you stay the night and you do rehearsals and everything.
Yeah, it's kind of where you kind of get a lot of it done, like especially the dances and the scenes. You get a lot done because, you're doing it from 9 a.m. to like 5:30 at night.
Yeah, it's pretty intensive.
It's very intensive, and they also only really bring the lead cast, the extension dancers, and the oldest group now.
Yeah.
And then, like, if there's some little kids, they'll bring them for the Sunday just to work on the stuff, which I think is a good idea because it is very tiring. And for a little kid, they need some more sleep than we do. We can work off of 4 hours sleep, and they need at least 10. I mean, they've got their balls of energy. But yeah, definitely camp. And then, kind of just grew from there. And then we did, because you did All Stars once or twice?
Did it. I did it once. I think that first year.
Yeah. So I think it was in the break between Pinocchio and then we did Grease. Yeah. Yeah. So I think we definitely became closer there. And ever since then, we've just been great friends.
Oh, so great.
Yeah, it's a long time though.
It's the old thing of like your best friends, even if you don't see them often, you're still best friends when you come together again, and that's like us in a nutshell.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, when you moved down to Christchurch for NASDA, I mean, I saw you 2-3 times a year.
Yeah,
and I mean, it was like we saw each other yesterday. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, I definitely think. Yeah, having those kind of friendships, even if it's from theatre, sports, or whatever, you're going to, when you get them young, you'll always continue them. You always carry those friendships on.
It's such a personal thing to perform in general. Yeah. And the people that are around you get to hear you sing and get to, listen to you grow as a person. So I think that's part of the reason why the friendships that you make there are so strong. Yeah,
I feel like you definitely see the other person in the worst of times and then the best of times.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Pinocchio, one of my shows, my voice just decided to crack on the high notes of my songs. Yeah. And I came back just so depressed and just so down. But then everyone was like, it's fine. Like, we all done it, but like, you're going to be fine the next show. And the next show I was. And it was great to have people support me when I was especially down. And I mean, because everyone's had those days in performing. I mean, we've all cracked, we've all forgotten lines, we've all, messed up a dance move.
Yeah.
And when someone else does it, we can relate to them. So it's not like, oh, it was okay. Like, we know how it feels.
Yeah.
And we can give the advice like, you know what you're doing. You were just a bit nervous. You're sweet ass. Everyone knows that you can do it. You can do it. Yeah, no one else can tell you that you can't.
It's empathy, not sympathy.
Exactly. I think that's really key. I remember doing it and I came out and some of the audience was like, oh, like, that's all right. It was good. Like, don't worry. But in my head, I'm like, they don't really mean it.
Yeah, you don't
You know what I mean? And like, I remember one time I came backstage and someone was like, what was that? I was like, mate, voice crack. And they're like, yeah, I gotcha. I was like, perfect. I don't need to hear, that was right. That was okay. You were fine. I need to hear.
They're like, that was terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible. You can do better. Yeah. Now do better. And I'm like, cool, I will. I promise.
Yeah.
I promise. Yeah. I think it's a huge part, being able to empathize with other people with that kind of stuff.
So we touched on before about me going to NASDA, and I remember I was helping you with your photography assignment. We were in your classroom at your school, and I got the call that I had got into NASDA.
Yes, that's right. I remember that.
I stepped outside, and it was Angela Johnson, head of NASDA. Yeah. You've got into NASDA. So you were the first person who knew that I was going to NASDA in the whole world.
I remember being like, why is he... Okay, that was weird that he just walked out on like a phone call. Must have been important. And then when you came in, you told me, I remember just being so ecstatic for you, just being like, yeah, he did it. I remember, man. But then I was also like, but he's leaving. Don't leave me. Yeah, I think it was such a cool thing to be able to be there, be the first one. I didn't know it was the first one. I thought you would have called at least your parents.
No, I didn't have time. I had to finish the photography assignment.
Had to finish my board, which got me like 14 credits.
Yeah. That
I changed the idea 2 weeks before it was due. I remember on the Monday back from when we had class, my teacher was like, you're lucky to have that friend of yours because he was really good. I was like, I know. Hence why I got him to do it with me. Because I would have been trashed by myself. So, I mean, you did photography for ages and you're always good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, little artsy James, eh?
Yeah. And now I'm unemployed. Woo!
But hey, you're doing a podcast, about theatre and New Zealand performing, which I think is great.
It's great.
I love the idea. It's bloody great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For any Scottish people listening, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, team. I apologise. I'm part Scottish, so it's fine.
It's fine. I'm allowed to.
I'm sorry. I'm allowed to do it, okay? Leave me alone.
So back to theatre.
It's back to the theatre, of course.
What is your dream role to play that you haven't played already? Is it Phantom?
It is Phantom.
Nice.
The reason behind Phantom, I feel like any kid that's ever done any theatre knows the Phantom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whether they like it or not, they know the role.
I mean, if they hate the musical, they know who he is.
It's just so iconic, like a guy in a half mask. It's just such an iconic image. And also, it's the image of theatre itself, like the two masks.
Yes. Oh, look at you with the symbolism there, James.
Golden nuggets on the Broadway podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it was like one of the first kind of musicals I saw. It just stuck with me. So, till I was now 22. I think I first watched it when I was about 5. I think I've got the original movie from back in the day. I've got the performance that they did on the West End, I believe, for like the 25-year anniversary or something like that. I've sung all the songs, got to see it on Broadway, paid lots of money for the program. And nice. I also went to a Broadway shop across the road and it had the music box that he has, the monkey one.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the little one. I could have bought the real size one, but that wasn't going to fit in my bag. I have the cup that they give you when you taking a drink into the theatre. I've got all these things. So it's like definitely a role that I absolutely want to play. And going back to my other favourite musical, I want to be Dewey Finn from School of Rock.
Mm-hmm. You'd be awesome in that role.
It would just let me go crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to do. But they're two polar opposite roles.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Their presence is felt differently, where Dewey Finn is very comedy and very out there. But Phantom, he could say nothing, but you know that he's there.
Yeah.
Like, you know that he's doing something without even saying. He could stand still, say nothing, and you know that he's watching something or he's planning.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would love to do Dewey Finn just to go absolutely bonkers, but I cannot play guitar. So if anyone out there is wanting to do School of Rock, doesn't have a Dewey Finn, let me know. I'll learn guitar for you, I promise. Yeah. Years and years of practice. I'll do it in 2 months if I have to, I promise.
Yeah.
So
just to play that role.
Yeah. What are your ones? I don't know your ones.
My dream role?
Mm-hmm.
I have two. One of them I probably couldn't play.
Okay.
And one of them I probably could play. The one that I couldn't play is Donkey.
Why not?
Because he's usually a person of colour.
That is true. That's true.
That's just because Eddie Murphy played him in the movie. The other one is Evan Hansen.
Loving it. Evan Hansen. I was jamming out to some Sincerely Me this morning.
Nice.
Love a bit
Classic.
Of singing the Connor Murphy part, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's easier to sing.
Yeah.
It's easier to sing for me. But yeah, no, I love that. I wasn't, with me, for some of the musicals, I always listen to them months after everyone has.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even with Hamilton, Hamilton, everyone was raving about it. Everyone knew the lyrics. And I was like, I haven't listened to it. And then I listened to it and I'm like, love it. I know all the lyrics now. I know all the songs. And it was the same with Evan Hansen, yeah.
Yeah, and it was the same with me for Hadestown. Like, that is my favourite musical at the moment.
Yeah,
and
it is a great musical.
I had heard about it for probably like a year before I actually listened to it. And when I did, I was like, why haven't I heard this before?
Yeah, it's such a different musical.
Totally.
And I think the same about Beetlejuice as well. I listened to Beetlejuice pretty soon as it came out because I loved the movie and I was like, it's going to be great. And with Alex Brightman in it, being the original Dewey Finn for Broadway, I was like, I need to listen to it. Yeah, so that was great. Very sad that it closed. Mm-hmm. And the people that, bought the tickets for the last performance didn't get to see it when it closed just because of coronavirus. And
I think it's really sad for the actors who didn't know that they'd had their closing night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It goes back to performing that something could have gone wrong, and the next night they would have done it differently or done it better, and they don't get the chance to,
Yeah, and closing night of a show is just this beast of a thing.
Yes.
And they didn't get to have that for a lot of Broadway shows, not just Beetlejuice. It's sad.
Yeah. I mean, it's different because I remember closing nights for NYTC. We did speeches, we did whatever, we were all in tears, but it was because now they do a Sunday matinee performance. It doesn't feel the same when it's like at 4:00.
Yeah, totally.
Saying goodbye to everyone, you know what I mean? But it's great because then we go straight to the after party. I think it makes it easier, especially for kids and grandparents sometimes. It's a little bit harder for them to, find babysitters for the kids. Or you can take the kids now because it's on a matinee instead of nighttime because kids
and
want to go to bed.
Being closing night, you have, you do all the ceremony stuff at the end.
Yes.
And if that's after a nighttime show for those young kids, like, they're just going to be shattered. And they were shattered, of course.
Grease. I remember that was a big one because a lot of people left, a lot of the cast. So that was a lot of people saying goodbye and all this stuff. And you could tell the parents were like, okay, let's get the kids out because we need to get home because they're going to be stroppy. And a lot of them have, they'd have a day rest and then go straight back to school. But now they kind of place it strategically where it's close to the holidays. So they don't just finish on a Sunday and got to go to school on a Monday. Yeah, I don't know. It's closing night is something else, and gala night's always fun doing the celebration start of the show. And I think it's really cool. And parents get to take photos of the kids in costume, and I think that's a missed opportunity for some theatre companies. They don't let their parents be able to take photos with their kids in costume with them because that's a huge thing, especially if you have like a younger sibling. They want to take a photo with you in the costume. I mean, when we did Wizard of Oz back, and I don't remember when we did it, my grandparents came to see it, and Mum wrote in and asked if I could go out and take photos with them at the end of the show. And they were like, yeah, no problem. Like, that's absolutely fine. And as soon as I stepped outside, full lion costume, everyone's like rushing, going, can we have photos? Can we have photos? I'm like, yeah. And then I see my grandparents. I'm like, sorry, I got to go to them. I was like, I know. Want me to sign the program?
I'm the lion.
Yeah, I'm the lion, guys. Hi. Do you know me? But yeah, so some people probably have a random photo with them with a personal lion costume on their computer.
Like, the makeup and stuff was so good that you wouldn't even know it was you.
No, not many people did, to be honest. Like, a friend of mine came up and they're like, can I have a photo? I was like, yeah. I was like, how did you enjoy the show? And I see their name and they're like, what? I was like, it's me, Caleb. And they're like, how did you not realize I sound the exact same? Yeah. You knew I was performing tonight as the lion. Do you think it was just someone random? We pay people to come in.
Someone just dresses up as the lion just for fun.
Exactly. But yeah, NYTC should start doing that. NYTC people, if you're listening, start taking photos.
So you then went to university for documentary filmmaking.
Yes. Good old doco directing.
Yeah. What made you just decide to go into that?
I remember because my dad used to work in TV quite a lot. He did TVNZ and then he did TV3. He was the director of programming for TV3 at one point, which was quite cool. So we'd always talk about that kind of stuff, and I've always been into, like, I'll watch a movie or a TV show or whatever, and then I'll watch it again and kind of look at it a bit differently. And we'd always talk about TV shows and movies, being like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. No, this one was awful. I was going to go to university, but I didn't get enough UE credits. I think I was like 2 off.
Nice.
And so I couldn't go to university, like a proper one, like Auckland or AUT. So I was like, this is probably a perfect opportunity for me to do something that I want to do. And I mean, it's a great industry to be a part of. So yeah, did that. It's a 1 year course, but I think you can make it a 2 year now or something like that. Not too sure. So yeah, did that for a year. Incredible experience. Definitely met a lot of cool people. I mean, my 2 lecturers were 2 of the best human beings I've ever met in my entire life. And it was great. One of them, her daughter started doing NYTC.
All right.
And she's like, I think she's about 7 or 8 years old. And yeah, she's just a ball of energy and she's cool. Her name's Bijou. What a great name.
That is a great name.
It's a great, incredible name. And yeah, started working in TV. I worked for Warner Brothers New Zealand, did First Dates New Zealand, worked on that. Did some stuff for The Block NZ for both. I think for 2016, I think I did something on 2017. I can't remember. But the 2016 one was like open homes, did that, and I did the live auction stuff. So I was building the set for it and helping all that stuff. And then I worked for Greenstone, which is the production house that does Police 10-7 and Border Security.
Yeah.
Great shows.
Great shows.
They were honestly great. My first day there, the president of the company was leaving. So we had a big KFC lunch.
Nice.
I'd lucky I did bring lunch that day because I was like, cool, KFC. I worked on a cool kind of web series, Young Ocean Explorers, which is all about kind of it's about a dad and his daughter going to different parts of the world, looking at reefs and looking at different like mammals and animals and fish and all that kind of stuff, which was really cool. Logged 3 terabytes of footage.
I know the feeling.
That took about 6 months to do.
Yeah.
And then I was lucky enough to do some of the editing for it, which was quite cool. Then I worked with them again for another couple months and then slowly realized that I was not enjoying it as much as I was at a certain point at the beginning. And then I was like, what do I actually really want to do? And then I talked to Seamus Ford, who used to be the assistant director at NYTC, a friend of mine, and I knew he was doing teaching, and I've always kind of had it in the back of my brain. I was like, I do want to do teaching because I love working with kids and doing all this stuff. So
teaching of performing arts or just
primary school teacher.
Sure.
Yeah. yeah, so I talked to him, and I think he was during Peter Pan or something like that, and we had a chat for about maybe 10, 15 minutes, and I went home and I was like, Mum, I need to look at universities for teaching, and now I'm in my final year. So next year I will be a primary school teacher.
Amazing.
Which is weird, but I'm loving it. I'm excited. I'm ready to go, ready to have my own classroom of 30 plus students, ready to teach. But to your point that you brought up before about like teaching performing arts, it's definitely going to be one of my main things, because I've been to schools, we work in classrooms, we meet with the principals, and so many principals are like, we have so many male teachers that just want to do PE. We need ones that don't want to teach year 6. I want to teach the younger kids, maybe like year 3 and 4, maybe even younger if I have to. I don't really mind. I said, I love doing performing arts, love all that stuff, and I want to be the one that's working on the musicals, working with the choirs, want to do all that stuff and be able to bring, because I know some schools don't do any kind of musical theatre programs.
Totally. Yeah.
And I think the kids are just missing out on it. Because, in primary, having that chance to do the musical at Brownsbury Primary is the Musical of Rats. I was always like, I know this is what I want to do, and I want to continue doing it. Some kids don't have the chance to be able to do that, A lot of schools are sports focused or academic, so they don't get the chance to be able to, they might paint, have a painting class, and they realize they want to do that for the rest of their lives, or they got to play guitar and they know that they want to do it. And I definitely want to give the kids an opportunity to be able to discover what they want to do, if that's sports, if that's singing, acting, whatever. I need to give those kids a chance to where they're able to find out that, rather than me forcing it down their throats, being like, you're doing singing now, you're doing sports, that's your career. But if it's my kids, it's fine. But if it's someone else's, definitely why I got into it. So yeah, TV, studying at South Seas kind of brought me into teaching, which is kind of weird. But
and I think
didn't think it would happen.
I think performing arts can help not just in the performing side, but even in being brought into the classroom, just to even just teach, English or even maths or whatever. Like, it can be a teaching style that you can employ to teach those things. Yeah.
And I've always wanted to recreate. I keep throwing it back to School of Rock. In the movie where the principal comes in and he's got a guitar sitting over the side. Yeah. He's like, oh, that's how I've been teaching maths.
Yeah.
And he plays it and starts singing, he asks people math questions, they have to sing it back to him. I would love to do something like that, because it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, music is maths.
Exactly. Performing arts is so many different aspects of normal day lives. I mean, if I didn't do performing arts, and even if I knew you'd be like, want to do a podcast? I'd be like, absolutely not, because I'm not confident. But doing performing arts, I'm like, get me on. I asked you if I could be on it.
Yeah, you did.
Come on. I guessed it too.
You guessed it before you knew it was a podcast.
Yeah, I was like, if you were like, what could it be? Get your guesses, and I was like, if it's a podcast, I'm coming on.
Yeah.
And I was right, which was great. Also thought you were making and selling music gear, and I was like, that's also cool. But podcasts, I love it. I love this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how to make music gear, so not doing that.
I saw the picture of the headphones and the mic, and I was like, oh, you're doing something, it might be selling stuff or whatever. No, that's cool. I love it. But yeah, so I think performing arts gives the kids something to look forward to, also in the classroom, but also in life.
Yeah.
To where they can kind of discover what they're going to do and who they're going to be. And I mean, I always had great teachers to where they were like, we did sports one week and then we did music the next one, and then we did painting, and then we did all this kind of stuff, to where we were able to do what the curriculum made the teachers do, but we also had time to figure out that we wanted to do it, rather than, okay, you only get to do one lesson of each, and now you have to choose which one you're doing for the rest of the year, I think giving the kids more opportunity to feel it out, feel the subject out, and then make a decision, rather than going, okay, one lesson, cool, choose. You can only do one of those for the rest of the year. And people would make that choice sometimes. A lot of boys I know would say sports. I'm not a sports person. I'm very much a performer.
Same. You touched on that your dad lives in the US.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. I was wondering if you have any desire to follow in that sort of trajectory to move elsewhere.
I definitely do. For teaching, we have to do 2 years in New Zealand, and then we get fully qualified to where we could go overseas and teach. I definitely want to go to America. I'd love to do New York, but on a teacher's salary, probably not feasible. But even if I did homeschooling there for some kids, it would also give me an opportunity to be like, let me go audition for things.
Yeah,
let me meet people. It's great. My dad, some of the people he knows, was writing a musical recently. I don't think it's happening anymore, but they were writing one for Broadway, and, you know, they know some Broadway people. And also knowing Jonathan Alva, who's the artistic director at NYTC, he knows so many people. So having contacts, and I mean, one of Dad's friends works for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So she's really close with Michael J. Fox, which would be incredible to meet him. And yeah, so it's real cool to do that stuff. I know some people that have moved to America to follow in that, in those kind of steps, and having Dad who's a citizen now makes my life a little bit easier to go do those kind of things. So definitely want to do it probably within like the next 5 years, maybe.
Yeah, cool.
Might go looking around, might go to Australia, New York, maybe LA. I'd probably go LA actually. Yeah, maybe even China, because I know that they've been looking for someone to run like a musical theatre department in a school, and, you know, you get your own translator, you get all this kind of stuff. So in Japan, I'd love to go to Japan. Found out that I'm part Japanese. You wouldn't guess it from me. I
would not guess it.
Part Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. My ancestors. So we didn't know. We knew that my grandfather was, he didn't know his dad. So we found out that on my grandfather's dad's side, there's Japanese, Korean, Chinese. So I've got like a little bit of all of those things. But
that's cool.
Ever since then, I'm like, I love to learn about the culture. I love to go to the countries. Will be a little bit harder to go to China, especially now. And Japan and Korea, really.
When it all dies down.
Probably in a couple of years. I just know as soon as that all finishes, everyone's going to travel overseas. You can just feel
everyone's going to do everything. It's going to be hectic.
Yeah, but it's going to be great for tourism economies. And hey, if people want to buy sunglasses from Sunglass Style in Albany, come down and let me know.
Do you get commission?
I do not. But
I was going to say, gonna buy all the glasses from Caleb.
just say Kiwi Dreams and I'll give you 10% off. And then I'll know. I'll be like, oh yeah, 10%.
He won't. Don't do that.
I would.
Do you have the authority to give 10% off?
I do, actually. I do.
Oh, nice. Well, do that then.
Yeah, come down, Albany. I work Friday 5 till 9 and Sundays 10 to 5:30.
Nice. Come on down.
Come on down, partner.
Another question. What is your favourite role that you've played? I do note that there is a Shrek mask on the shelf behind you.
There he is.
It's quite terrifying.
It is a little bit terrifying. But yeah, no, absolute favourite role that I played, Shrek, hands down.
Nice.
It was a role where I finally got to be funny. I could make my own jokes. I was given a little bit of leniency to be funny and make my own little, ad-lib sometimes. And it was fun, and got to bring him back to one of yours, Donkey. The 2 girls that I got to work with, because they did all girls for Donkey, the 2 that I got to work with were just absolutely incredible, and we were all able to bounce off of each other. Amelia and Rosie, they were just so much fun. We were able to have little jokes that we would crack up at, and we had so much fun on stage with the Fionas, getting to do with Emily Robinson and Alice Hansen, 2 incredible performers. Being with them, who are just absolutely incredible, I felt like I had to step up with my performing, you know what I mean? Like, you want to be as good as the ones that you're sharing the stage with. But the worst thing about being Shrek was we had to wear our clothes. We had to wear long pants, a fat suit, a shirt, another shirt, and then like a little waistcoat with big boots, and then the mask on.
Yeah.
Friday night, one of my shows, I came backstage like halftime, and I just had to be fanned because me and poor Rosie Leishman were ready to faint. We were ready just to lie down and go. Like, I mean, the donkeys were wearing like a full like fur suit at like the head stuff with the ears. They had things over their hands. They had boots on. They were just, especially Rosie Leishman, who was nuts. She was running around on stage going bonkers. By the end of the show, her makeup was just pouring down her face. And yeah, absolutely loved it. Would love to play Shrek again. Was going to audition for the Australian one, but they had casted Shrek, and to be in the chorus you had to know how to tap, and I'm a bad dancer anyway, so it was Shrek or nothing.
Shrek or bust.
Or Farquaad. I'd love to do Farquaad too. That'd be fun.
Only prerequisite for Farquaad is you have to have good knees.
Oh, then I'm out. I've got bad knees. I've got the lower body of an 80-year-old. I've got so many problems. The feet, ankles, knees, hips, lower back, I'm out. To put me in one of those things, I'd be gone within 2 seconds.
We have touched on the isolation stuff.
Yeah.
What have you been doing during this isolation to kind of get by?
I've just been recording some videos, me singing. Don't know if I'll put them out, to be honest.
Come on.
I know. I'm one of those people, I'm like, I don't want to do it. But if someone pressures me, I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
Let me be the one to press you.
Okay, I'll do it now.
Do it.
Got to edit them, though. Need to edit that kind of stuff.
Oh, you got to edit.
Oh, yeah. Trying out new songs, like different theatre songs. Ones that I would never think to sing ever in my entire life. Yeah, and been looking at different kind of pop songs to get ready for auditions. I mean, rock songs as well, trying to find stuff that's in my vocal range, because everyone wants to sing Queen, but when you're a tenor baritone, you cannot sing Freddie Mercury as well as you think you can, especially for auditions.
Most people can't sing Freddie Mercury as well as they think they can.
Freddie Mercury and Adam Lambert, they're the only two that can sing Freddie Mercury. Yeah, just trying to figure out different songs, and I got to find like monologues and all that kind of stuff for auditions. Was going to audition for Rent down in the Court Theatre in Christchurch.
But that's been cancelled.
Yeah, I couldn't make it down to Christchurch anyway for the auditions. It's going to be interesting to see how the theatre kind of industry is going to come back.
Yeah, it'll be the last thing to kind of come back. But I do think it will come back, and it will come back in force, because theatre people are hungry for theatre.
Oh, yeah. I mean, APA Sound of Music, we've postponed to December. NYTC Little Mermaid's postponed to end of November, early December. Encore doing Cinderella has postponed to December. Not too sure what Centre Stage has been doing, but they've probably postponed a lot of stuff. Yeah, we're waiting to get the all clear. We're ready to perform. I've got the my first script read-through tomorrow for Sound of Music on a Zoom call.
Amazing.
With all of us there. So yeah, we're all just biting at the bit to be able to go back and do what we want to do. I know the first rehearsal back everyone will be so excited, and we're ready to go. And yeah, I'm just ready. I'm ready to finally perform Sound of Music. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Excited to do the podcast as well during lockdown.
Giving people something to do, you know?
Yeah, I mean, podcasts are so big these days. Can't be bothered doing anything, chuck a podcast on. If I'm going for a walk, I listen to a podcast. Or
yeah, that's the thing. It's something that you can do while doing other things. Whereas, you know,
I mean,
watching stuff, you can't really do.
Yeah.
You can't really move around while watching stuff.
No.
But with a podcast, you can.
Yeah, I think with podcasts as well, you can do it about anything. You could do it about trees. People are going to listen, you know? I was thinking about doing podcasts like when I become a teacher and doing like talking to other teachers about everything and stuff like that. And people would listen. You know, doing theatre. I mean, there's a huge theatre community everywhere in the world that people are going to listen. Even if it's in America, they're going to listen to New Zealand ones. You know what I mean? So I think definitely a good little startup, James. Look at you.
Thank you.
Little genius. Hey? Nothing better to do while being unemployed.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what am I going to do? Let's just do this.
Yeah. If I had the brains to do it, I would have done it. But
beat you to it.
Dang it. I'm going to do one now and call it, I don't know, New Zealand Dreams.
Call it West End. And Other Kiwi Dreams.
I love it. I love it. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Coming towards the end, obviously, as we've said, this podcast is called Broadway and Other Kiwi Dreams.
Yes, sir.
And that's because it's my dream to kind of work professionally in the theatre and stuff.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, what is your Kiwi dream?
Oh, that's a good one.
Is it filmmaking? Is it performing? You've touched on the teaching thing.
I think for me personally, I would love to do performing as a career. But for my teaching, I wouldn't leave teaching unless I knew that I would have a continuous career.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like if I were to be part of Phantom, I mean, it's Phantom's never going to close. Like close. They're never. They've closed once and like a year or something later, they reopened. On Broadway. They're going to
close
keep
now,
going.
but they're going to reopen.
They're going to reopen. Everyone knows Phantom, and that's one that's consistent. Everyone loves it. Everyone will watch it. I would definitely leave teaching for that, to be able to perform consistently. Even if I did like a world tour and was just the same show, I would love it. But I think for teaching, my kind of Kiwi dream is to be able to build theatre community and programs within schools.
Sure.
I would love to go to schools with a group of people and talk about theatre and be able to present a theatre program that they can trial at schools, that they could do something like that, to where they could, we would help them get the rights for musicals, would help them stage it, would help costume it, we'd come in and direct and choreograph and musical direct. I think that would be great. Anyone out there, don't steal my idea. That is mine. I would absolutely love to. Yeah, copyright. Boom, done it. My lawyer will see you shortly. I would absolutely love to be able to build a bigger community in New Zealand, just because New Zealand, we do have a great theatre community, and it is big, but compared to other countries like Australia, America, England, lots of different countries, where we are far behind, because great theatre programs, like theatre companies, like youth theatre, but when it comes to adult theatre, it's not as big as it could or should be.
Totally. And I think it's quite exclusive as well in that kind of world.
Yeah, I feel like you need to get in early and young and stay with them to where you will keep being brought in. I know, like, Becca Head, she was meant to be doing Glinda in Wicked, I think in New Plymouth, because she did it in Christchurch, somewhere else. I can't remember exactly where she did it again.
I don't know. I was in the Christchurch one. I know that.
Yes, that's right. I remember that. She worked on NYTC's Wizard of Oz, and I was working with her. I was her intern, and she is just incredible person and performer. And she will just be, if you go, Becca, hey, do you have any contacts that I could talk to about getting into doing shows or auditions? She'd be like, yeah, here you go. Here's a whole list. She helped me a lot kind of be more confident to do auditions. But yeah, I think building a bigger community for youth especially is going to help them and bring if you get a big influx of kids, they're going to continue for ages, and you're going to have a bigger theatre community here. I mean, it's great what Amici does, doing Les Mis. They did Mamma Mia, doing Mary Poppins, which has been postponed, so hopefully opening soon. Amici's great. So yeah, there are some, but there could definitely be more, if you get what I'm saying, homie.
I do get what you're saying, homie G.
Homie G. My goodness. But yeah, those are my Kiwi dreams.
And on that note, thank you for listening to Broadway and Other Kiwi Dreams.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Caleb, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed hearing a conversation between two great friends. You can find Caleb on Instagram at real_Caleb_Brown. Want to find out what Caleb looks like? Head on over to the podcast website. There, you'll find headshots of all the guests, as well as myself, so you can finally put faces to the voices. The link to the website is in the description. You can also find the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those links are also in the description. Join me next week as I talk to someone who is literally living the title of this podcast on Broadway and Other Kiwi Dreams.